Shalom David.
Shalom Daniel.
Hoshana Rabbah, Kidmat Zion. Today is the day that I'm glad that I've got both a heart and a brain. Because my heart today is, like I think with everyone, feeling enormous joy that the hostages are coming out. I mean, to fathom anyone being underground for an hour with these barbarians, these Muslim fundamentalists, is inconceivable. And after 2 years to think how they are, I just hope that Hashem gives them the strength, the family, the strength, the people around them, so they can be back to normal as soon as possible. That's what my heart says. But my brain at the same time is saying the war's not over. Hamas is still there. We've had enormous success with lots of other things around Israel. But Hamas is there. They're celebrating. They've got their weapons, their guns. They've caught up another few thousand people. We've released terrorists. I wouldn't want to be the family whose son or mother or father was murdered by an Arab, and that terrorist has been released. What he's going to do in the future, Sinwar, I'm not mistaken, Sinwar was also released. So that's in the future. So I'm torn between this. It's like the shofar. The shofar on one hand is heralding Hashem, and the eighth time it's also crying and tears. It's two things. I'm really torn at this particular point in time. And as Trump is about to fly in an hour's time, he's meant to be here.
He's landing now, yeah.
He's landing here. Trump. Well, what do we have to say about Trump?
I think we just have to be careful of how, he has a part to play in this entire, obviously, of course, Baruch Hu, he used him to take out, or was one of the people that played a part in getting out many of the hostages out. Wasn't the only one. Our soldiers, I think, played a huge part.
Soldiers.
The
bulk is him. It's like the people you try and open a bottle.
That's right.
When everyone's doing it most they can, suddenly you give it to them and they open it. It's like it's. In some ways, I feel like that's Trump coming along at the end here. There's no question that America have been. He's very different from Biden. The support, the weapons. One thing I have to be very careful about is he shouldn't decide things for the state of Israel. What's happening in Sharm el-Sheikh now, this whole issue of the countries deciding what will be with Gaza, the world deciding,
and we're not even going.
It's a little bit of a problem. It's a bit of a worry.
That's right.
My biggest worry, and I do hope and pray that Trump understands truly that we're faced with evil. We're not just fighting Hamas. We are bringing the Jewish people, the world has to understand that we are bringing Kedusha to the world and light to the world. And therefore, we have to complete the war. We did what we can with Iran, and maybe there's still more to be done there. There's Houthis. We've had enormous successes today, and the world is in awe about what God and his people are doing, that for sure. But Hamas is still in power. And Trump, the so-called peace treaty, we have to be thankful to Trump, but there's no question that the Israeli soldiers and the Israeli government are responsible for where we are. I've been listening every so often just to get a balance. And I listen to Channel 14, but the other channels are so anti-Bibi, anti-government, pro-Hamas even in some ways, that the way they're projecting, it's on the other side. They're giving ammunition and fuel for half the things they say, and these so-called generals and experts that think that, and they've been wrong every single time. Listen, there's a stage 2 of this peace process, of this peace treaty. I don't think you can really have peace between evil and good. Evil has to be destroyed. There's no such thing as a peace treaty between evil and good. We can coexist. No, there is no coexisting with evil. That's for sure. And I'm praying that stage 2 will still, that the world will understand that Israel has still got stage 2 here. Netanyahu said yesterday the war is not over.
But Trump says the war is finished. So we see some tension now. And I think he wants the war to be finished. I think Trump, like he said, said on his way out on the plane, so this might have been the greatest deal I've ever done. And
maybe we'll see. If he stays with stage 2 and Hamas is destroyed, and we have another united Arab Emirates that is living side by side with Israel down south, where Jews can also live there as much as anyone else, because obviously it's part of Eretz Israel, then maybe it will be the greatest deal that he's ever made. But if he thinks that by going and talking to Turkey and Qatar, where a lot of people are invested, that they're going to take over and it's going to be the same thing over and over again with no change in the education or thinking towards Israel, then it's not the greatest deal. It's the greatest deal for the families, the hostages, and that for sure. But I'm hoping and praying also that now the shackles are off. Until now, the Israeli army has been careful. I've heard soldiers say they couldn't do A, B, C, and D because of the soldiers, maybe in this building, maybe in this tunnel. Where are we bombing? The shackles are off now.
That's right. That is true. But
If we're allowed to, by
there's another shackle.
That's the America.
That's the shackle here that we have to be willing to let go of. But one thing that does strike me in this meeting, it's true there are other nations going. Indonesians invited, UAE's down there, going down there. But the stake, he calls them the stakeholder countries that have to ensure this deal are Qatar, Turkey, Egypt. The UAE is not part of it, which is very strange. Bahrain is not part of it. Not one of the countries that was part of the Abraham Accords is a stakeholder in enforcing this deal. Qatar, which is Muslim Brotherhood. Turkey, which is Muslim Brotherhood. Egypt vacillates between both sides there.
And could fall tomorrow.
That's right. So I'm not going to say anything personal about the president, but it seems very odd and strange that right from here he's flying down there to have this detente with all these kind of meetings with all these people. And we're not even going. We're not even invited, and it means we're not even he's treating us like a non-sovereign country, which is very, very odd.
It's very strange because the peace treaty is meant to be with Israel, and yet Israel's not there.
That's right.
It's the whole thing is absurd. Not only that, but those countries they don't get along with Israel. We may have a peace treaty with Egypt, but it's a cold peace treaty. Qatar, they were the sworn enemies of Israel, and they funded Hamas. And Turkey has said enough to put him out there on that same side, and to have them on our back doorstep, it's as if we're back at the beginning of Oslo. So there's a lot's going to unfold in the next few days to see what Israel does. We can't let others decide our fate. Our fate is in the hands of only God, but we have to know how to act under God's wing. That's our role in this world. Our role is not to be subservient to any superpower, which is why we have to produce our own weapons. Our role is to make decisions which are good for Israel, and not whether someone's going to get a Nobel Prize or not get a Nobel Prize. I'm very thankful for Trump. I'm very thankful for what America's done. We've had no greater, friend. It puts him on the same level in some ways as King Darius and King Cyrus. But time will tell whether he stays with that definition. If he pulls the plug and says, "You've got your hostages back, now let it go." Israel can't let it go. So, and we also can't let those nations take control there. At least we have a perimeter. We have the Philadelphia, we have Netzarim, we have a nice strip. God willing, there'll be army bases, there'll be Jewish life there, maybe it'll be reestablished one day. And we have to make sure that we don't let another Hamas rear its head. Yossi Balin, I remember him and all these left-wing lunatics at the side, they spoke, if they fire one bullet, we'll have the right to go in. Hundreds of thousands of missiles later. So the test is going to be that first day after. Are we a new people? Are we a new government which is conceptually thinking different? Does Netanyahu think differently? Does he realize that one of the objectives has not been achieved? I actually think that land for peace is not a bad concept. We take land for quiet.
That's right.
It's no longer land for peace. We will take land, and then there'll be quiet.
That's right. That's the real land for peace.
That's it. It was good enough for Yeshua. It's good enough for us in these days, God willing.
Real shalom comes with shleimut. You can only have shalom, peace, when there's shleimut, the complete land underneath our sovereignty.
Those days are going to happen at the Haftorah that we're on the Sukkot. It's just unbelievable. Is it unfolding?
Seems like it.
Seems like it. Time will tell. Shalom, shalom.